I want you to imagine this for a second. And, just imagine, okay? You're asleep. Deep sleep. The kind where your body feels heavy, like it's sinking into the mattress. No dreams, just dark. And then, your eyes open. Not slowly, not because of a sound, they just open. You check the clock. 3:11 a.m. At first, you don't think much of it. People wake up at night all the time, right? Thirst, bathroom, random thoughts. It happens. You turn to your side, try to sleep again. But something feels off. Outside your window, it's too quiet. No crickets, no wind, no distant highway noise. And then you realize your phone screen lights up. Not from a notification, just on. The time says 3:11 a.m. That was the first night in Merrill Creek, Iowa. A town so small, most people in the U.S. couldn't find it on a map even if you handed them a pin. Population? Around 1,400. One grocery store, one diner, 2 churches, and a single 2-lane road slicing straight through it. Nothing ever happened there until everyone woke up at 3:11 a.m. Yeah, I know how that sounds. Everyone? Really? That's what the police thought too. That's what the doctors said. That's what Dr. Evelyn Carter thought. She arrived 2 weeks later. Dr. Carter was a sleep researcher, not a YouTube doctor, not a podcast personality, no offense, but a real one. PhD, published papers, hospital contracts, the kind of woman who spoke calmly even when she was uncomfortable. She was invited after the local clinic noticed something strange. Patients were coming in exhausted, not just tired, not I didn't sleep well tired. They were shaking, missing work, forgetting names. Every single one of them said the same thing. I wake up at 3:11 a.m. every night. At first, Dr. Carter assumed coincidence. Stress spreads fast in small towns. One rumor becomes a pattern. She set up sleep monitors, EEG headbands, audio recorders. She even slept in the town herself. First night, nothing. Second night, nothing. On the third night, at exactly 3:11 a.m., all 12 monitors in the clinic spiked. Every patient's brain activity surged at the same moment. Dr. Carter sat up so fast she knocked her notebook off the bed. She checked the timestamp again. 3:11 a.m. She laughed. Actually laughed. A nervous little kind of laugh. Because when something shouldn't be possible, laughing is easier than panicking. The next morning, she interviewed the patients, one by one. Different ages, different backgrounds, same description. I wake up and feel like someone just left the room. I don't see anything, but I know I wasn't alone. I feel watched. Then one man, late 40s, truck driver, said something that made her stop writing. He said, I hear a voice, not talking, just breathing. Dr. Carter looked up. Breathing? She asked. He nodded, like it's right next to my ear. That night, she added audio recorders to every room. At 3:11 a.m., every recorder picked up the same thing. Static, low, thick, almost wet. And under it, A sound that wasn't quite breathing, but wasn't static either. Dr. Carter replayed it over and over. She leaned closer to the speaker and whispered, and, sorry, I know this sounds dramatic, but she whispered, "Hello?" The static spiked. She pulled back. Okay, sorry, let me correct that. She didn't whisper, "Hello." She whispered, "Is someone there?" Yeah, that matters later. By the 7th night, the town stopped pretending this was normal. Dogs started howling at 3:11 a.m., every single one. Car alarms triggered, not randomly, together. And the clocks. God, the clocks. Digital clocks froze at 3:11. Analog clocks stopped ticking, right between the 2 and the 3. A kid in the town, 8 years old, asked his mom, "Why does the night stop breathing at 3:11? She didn't know how to answer that. On night 11, Dr. Carter recorded her final personal audio log. Her voice was calm but thinner, like she hadn't slept in days. She said, "This is Dr. Evelyn Carter, personal log. I no longer believe this is a sleep disorder." She paused. You can hear her swallow. Everyone wakes up before the sound begins, which means the sound isn't waking them. Silence. Something is checking whether we're conscious. She laughed softly. "God, that sounds insane," she said, then corrected herself. "No, it sounds impossible. There's a difference." At 3:11 a.m., her recorder cut out. Not stopped, not corrupted, just ended. Dr. Evelyn Carter was never seen again. And the town of Merrow Creek, they kept waking up. After Dr. Carter disappeared, Merrow Creek tried to move on. That sounds stupid, I know. Like, move on from what exactly? A missing scientist and a town-wide nightmare? But small towns don't survive by confronting fear. They survive by pretending nothing's wrong. People stopped talking about 3:11. They turned clocks away from their beds. They slept with TVs on. They drank more. Some families left. Most stayed. Because here's the thing nobody tells you about places like that. Fear doesn't always push people away. Sometimes it pins them down. 37 days after Dr. Carter vanished, the first death happened. Natural causes, heart attack, at 3:12 a.m. The autopsy showed something strange. The man's eyes were open, wide. The coroner, who later quit, by the way, said it looked like his heart didn't fail from stress. It failed from recognition. Yeah, I know, that's not a medical term. Those were his exact words. Then people started noticing the pattern. If you woke up at 3:11 and fell back asleep, the next night was worse. The breathing got closer. The static got clearer. Some people said they could feel weight on their beds. Not pressure, presence. One woman said she felt fingers counting her ribs. She laughed while saying it. Like, haha, yeah, that's crazy, right? Then she moved out 2 days later. The recordings became wrong, not distorted, not glitched, just wrong. At exactly 3:11 a.m., a phrase started appearing beneath the static. Quiet, almost polite. "You're awake." Not a question, a statement. And then, one night, the phrase changed. "You stayed." That's when the town council finally called federal authorities. They arrived at noon. 3 cars, no insignia. They stayed one night. At 3:11 a.m., the power went out. When it came back on, the agents were gone. Their cars were still there, engines cold, doors unlocked. No signs of struggle, just absence. The final tape, the one nobody was supposed to hear, surfaced years later. Dr. Carter's missing audio. It wasn't damaged. It wasn't corrupted. It was labeled clarification. Her voice was different. Not scared, not tired. Focused. She said, "I made a mistake. It doesn't wake us up. It waits until we're already awake." 3:11 isn't a time. Her breath catches. She laughs softly. "I keep doing that," she says, laughing. "Sorry." Then, it's a head count. Then, and this is the part that still messes with people, she whispers, "Some of us don't belong here anymore." At exactly 3:11 a.m., the tape ends. Today, Merrill Creek still exists, technically, but maps are inconsistent. Some GPS systems route around it, satellite images blur at the edges, and people who drive through, just passing through, sometimes wake up at night, not at home, in a motel, or their car, or a place they don't recognize. They check the time, 3:11 a.m., and for a second, just a second, they feel relief, because they're awake. Then the relief fades, because something else is too, and it's listening.